let's talk about some of the problems that entrepreneurs are experiencing that are making them live to a fraction of their potential, and some of the hacks and frameworks that you give them so that they can be more intentional and show it more powerfully.
Sure. Well, one of the biggest ones, and this is one that I was quite surprised by, but I did a survey to my audience, to my through email, and I asked them, what is your biggest challenge to growing your business? And I wasn't expecting the answer that I got, but the biggest challenge was the fear of marketing themselves and their services,
Interesting.
of putting themselves out there. So when I dug around with this, it turned out there's a fear of rejection, fear of criticism, fear of not being smart enough, of not knowing what to say, of their competition being better, and so on and so forth. And it's interesting because the behavior around this is that they don't market consistently, they are busy in their work, but they're not doing the focused, client generating, revenue generating work like outreach, making offers, having sales conversations, but they keep themselves busy doing the peripheral stuff. So we can kid ourselves, can't we? That I've had a really busy day, but at the end of the week, there isn't a client. So the marketing is a really interesting one because it's a classic self-sabotage.
Yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get around to implementing it. I just have to tweak my website a little bit more. So that is because we know the heart of most businesses, well, just about every business, the more marketing you do, the more conversations you have, therefore the more clients you have. So that's just a steady formula. And a lot of people just don't do that first bit of marketing themselves. Another big challenge is around fees. Quite a few entrepreneurs that I've come across aren't charging what they want to charge because they don't believe in their value. Right. And because they don't believe in their value, as you said, that they put that perception on their prospects. They're not going to believe in my value. Hey, but the thing is, you don't believe in your value. So how's anyone else going to believe in your value when you know that what you have to offer the client is way beyond any price you're charging for it? The prospect picks up. They pick up that certainty and confidence from you. So again, this is all internal work. So that the price is just a number. Whether you're charging 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, it's just a neutral number. So we put our own meanings on that number. If the meanings are positive, hey, we'll go out there and we'll really charge what we're worth. If our meanings that we put on the numbers are negative, i.e. they'll never pay that, I'm not worth that, etc., then you'll never get around to charging what you're worth. And the funny thing that I found with clients who aren't charging what they want, they start feeling really, they start feeling frustrated, and they don't like working with their clients because they feel they're not getting enough back from their clients, they're not paying them enough. So this has a really knock-on effect in their client relationship as well. So if you're happy being paid what you're worth, you feel good about it. If you feel a client's not paying you enough because you haven't charged him enough, then that doesn't feel good. Another big issue that I work with is fear of sales conversations, which is very much tied in with the value that you charge. So having a sales conversation fills a lot of entrepreneurs with fear, so they don't put them in their calendar. They don't go out and look for them. And again,
are they afraid of rejection? Are they afraid of someone rejecting them?
Yeah, and again, they're not going to go for what I've got. They're not going to be interested. And how am I going to deal with a no? What does it say about me? They're rejecting me personally. And so I will say a rejection is never rejecting you and who you are. No one is able to reject who you are in this world. It's not possible. You are rejection proof. All they're saying is that it's not right for them, or you haven't shown them the value of it.
Yeah.
So if you can stop taking things personally, and this for me was one of my biggest turnarounds in my life. I stopped taking things personally. So if someone says no to me, or they say something unpleasant to me, I always think, oh, that's interesting. They're not, if it's something unpleasant, they're not in a good place right now. And I never think, oh, I caused them to say that about me. It's my fault. I always automatically go to, they're not in a good place right now. I wonder what's going on in their lives. If a client says no to me or a prospect says no to me, I just get curious.
Yeah.
What was it? And I just say, can you give me some feedback about why you didn't want to go ahead? Because it'd be really valuable for me. And so we end up having a conversation about, what wasn't right for them. And that gives me so much more I can add into my next sales conversation. So it's still a gift. A no is still a gift.
Yeah.
So when you stop taking things personally, then you get really curious about life and about people and what's going on in their heads. Yeah. And it's freed me up to be a bigger risk taker. Right. Because I can ask for things because I don't mind when people say no.
Yeah.
And I always say
your identity is not tied up in the day-to-day.
My value is not tied up with them saying no to me. And that's so freeing.
Yeah.
And I always say to my children, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
And this is one of my rules in the world. If you don't ask, and most people are too scared to ask. So the people who do ask, they've got a really big head start in life.